What is up, everybody? Good afternoon. Happy Friday, the 13th, December 13th, 2024. Coming to you with today's trading trends. Just a little programming stuff. I will be out next week, so no videos next week. The next video will be, the beginning of that Christmas week, the 23rd. So that'll be my first video back. We'll see what happens with the volume next week. We'll get into, of course, today's tape and recap of the whole week from the ETF lens. Another program, I'll be the chart advisor writer. It's a CMT thing. You can Google that, CMT chart advisor. I'll be the writer of the week, December 30th through January the 3rd. So writing blurbs. I'm going to do it from a year-end review type perspective. Kind of like what I do here in writing, though, in blurbs, the most important moving stocks and ETFs. And that was pretty much it. So I'll see you guys again next Monday. No videos next week, and then we'll have that Christmas week. It was at a Bloomberg event yesterday. It was a ETF conference, and it's just amazing how many ETFs are getting issued, how many people are cracked out playing 2 times MSTR, and then there's baskets, Bitcoin plus Solana minus Nvidia. There's really anything you can contrive, especially through derivatives strategy. It's getting rolled out to next year. It's not stopping. So just interesting stuff to see. All right, so today a new all-time highs for the Qs. Today, semiconductors. We'll look at the charts. We have been pushing it. Let me know if you have a ticker or anything. Put in the chat. Semiconductors got really lifted today by Broadcom. Broadcom up 25%. Marvell's up 7%. So the semis are running. We'll take a look at the SMH. How close we're getting to the resistance. And Mexico, we'll take a look at that because we did get the jump. We were looking for a jump, and then we're going to see, pretty much a dog. I think that, what is that, perro in Spanish? How do you say dog in Spanish? You sure? Anyway, so Mexico jumped up 2%, and the metals and mining, that had a drop about 2.5% in the GDX and across the silver and gold metal complex. Those were down at new all-time highs for QQQ based on what we said earlier. Tesla hit new all-time highs, absolutely wild. And then later, we'll take a look at the week recap. It's been a couple days since I did the ETF recap. Seeing all those charts yesterday about single stock, double leverage ETFs and everything makes me feel glad that I made the single stock videos. I'm going to stick with it. It is fun. Let me know if you guys have feedback. I really do want to hear. This is more informative. The ETF recap it doesn't really tell you a lot. Walgreens is up 30% in the week, and then something absolutely different within the same sector. So a lot of idiosyncratic stuff, but it is how we make money. So trader moves. I did buy Oracle 2 days ago. Needed a software name, and that fulfilled all the parameters. And I got it on sale versus the 21-day exponential moving average. And today I actually bought the other name I was recommending 2 days ago in the video, AAOI. They do like fiber optics communications. I got in today. It was up 10% today on upgrades, but it was still within my entry rules. So the video is working for me. I'm getting really good entry points in some names. Okay, so in the weekly recap, on the week, 6.5% declines in uranium and biotech. That was really a big takeaway this week, and a 6% rally in nat gas. We had looked at it last week, I think together it was, with an astute viewer, who you are, and we're asking about it and say, it's basing. I think it's holding the 21-day exponential moving average pretty well here. I said, you know what, you might want to sell puts right here. I didn't like the premium involved, and I didn't really enter another leg of spread. So it is what it is. I'm in January options, but all right. So that's that. We'll take a look at all the charts, of course. All right. Without further ado, let me share the screen. It's a nice looking image too. Look at that. That is the truth. It's the Qs right here, semiconductor chip, and all the I guess these are the folks working on it here. So again, trading trends today. Semis and Mexico jumped 2%, while metals and mining dropped 2.5% at new all-time highs for the Qs. And this week characterized by 6.5% declines in uranium and biotech, with a 6% rally in nat gas. I can stop shouting. The air system just kind of lowers, so I can stop shouting. Rocco's being really annoying. So if I get up and throw him, you know why. Okay, so let us go to the charts first. Of course, the almighty looking at the SPY. I've done this, and it's always really great and informative when you step back and you see where you are versus your forecasts or targets. So let me get into it. He's really being annoying. Out there. Okay, so here's the intraday chart. Low volume, I believe on SPY we did about 30 million shares. Yeah, 31 million in SPY. Pretty below average, but we're in the middle of December here. Volatility was flat. SPY was flat. Nasdaq was your winner, up 1.8 behind all this semis moves. So let's take a look here. This was the SPY intraday chart. Oh, just real fast, you can see the some of the big movers. Broadcom finished up 24%, Tesla up 4%, MicroStrategy up 4%, Palantir up 4%, Taiwan Semi up 5%. So you had a lot of heavy movers here if you were in the space. So on the open here, so pretty ugly in the morning. We sliced through this at a 200 bar, moving average at 606. We sliced right through that like butter. And then we kept on going lower all the way till we hit a low right around that euro close around 1 o'clock at about 603. I'm rounding there. And then we got all the way to VWAP. It was a nice rally. I was watching because I had a lot of December options. I'm not going to be here next week. So I eliminated a bunch of the options positions. So I was getting out, pretty good times ideally. And it was really a nice rally into this 3 o'clock. And then it started to fade at 334. VWAP here at 604. We ended up closing at 603 half. So that was that perspective for today. So as I zoom out, so everything's kind of, it's been a couple of days since, like I said, since we had this update on the ETF. So my, updated distribution phase. So to me, it's going to sound wonky or crazy. So we're in a distribution phase. I'm doing that strictly through where we are versus the 21-day exponential moving average and where the high was. So my date I have for that, for this, that period to end is right around December 21st, which is obviously that's not even a trading day. That is next Saturday. So somewhere towards the end of next week or early the following week, around the 23rd, I see this market basing holding right around 600 even. Of course, could it get a little bit lower than that? Absolutely. But I see us selling off basically another $3-4 maybe. And then you're going to have this, massive convergence. Basically, there's a lot of moving averages here at 600. And that was levels just first discovered again 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. So, but we're holding these election gaps. I don't think you're going to get that entry point again. I think the train's left the station. If there's some extraordinary fear and people say AI is a joke and there's no more CapEx going into it, I think you get yourself to like 585 because there's going to be one company. We had that the other day. Oracle had, kind of a disappointing guide, and then Broadcom comes the other day and boom, it pulls Qs to the all-time high. So in that kind of stuff, you want to pay attention to the overall motion of the ocean, as they say. You don't want to look for one. A lot of people are saying that, AMD's telling the story. Semis are a crap play. It's not going to have a lot of longevity due to where they are. Kind of different use case. They're in appliances and stuff like that. It's not a different AI direct use case, although they're trying to improve. Regardless, this is the true trend. Look at this. That's all I need to know. Never once oversold. And yeah, last time you really had, to me, a time to buy the market on sale is when it was touching, legitimately touching the 20-day moving average. And that was the week before Thanksgiving. So you've been kind of chasing in a way for the past 3 weeks. So to sum up, so about the end of next week or early the following, around that 23rd before Christmas, I see us basing to around $600. So I don't see us taking off right now. And then all green light for the Santa rally. And I believe that takes you to about 610 to 615. So pretty kind of in line with what my year-end target was, like 6 months ago. We were in hot dogs at Memorial Day. So that's that for SPY. So pick your spots. I think we don't do a ton next week. Small bias to the sell side. And then we go higher after that. The final, 10 days of the year just could be, you're going to start to get to that 610, 615 mark in Spizzle, which of course is the financial chart for SPY. All right, so that's a lot of talking. All right, that's what I do. All right, so let's take a look at some of the charts. So why did the Qs go to all-time high today? You got to look at the SMH. We've been talking about that. Very important index. We're actually going to take an updated look at where this is in the best 3 trades of the past year before it had fallen out before. But obviously, you'll see where it is. So anyways, so the 200-day moving average, by the way, just so you know, the highs for the semis group was made in July here. If you remember, this is when NVIDIA was really just going with the acceleration, just absolutely insane. And then a couple times on sale here on the Yen-Mageddon. I like that name. For the Japanese crash on August 5th. And then he had another issue here right after Labor Day, if you recall. And then a couple of people have noticed, we said not many chances you get to buy a superstar. The 27th, which was, I believe, right around Thanksgiving time. Yeah, the day before, the Wednesday, you got another opportunity. And then again on the 10th. 3 days ago, we actually got to 239 on the low the day. You timed absolutely great. So you're getting more opportunities, obviously, to buy semiconductors on sale. We, as I correctly predicted, we did not have enough gusto to break over 260, and we have not. You made threats here early November. So what does all that mean? So I liked semis in from about like the 20, like around here. So around the 27th. And then now I think it's running its course. I thought it was going to try and make a little bit of a move closer to this 260. The fact that the high is really both times on this date, the 4th and today, the high is basically 253. So, it is running a little bit out of steam. There has been a big push into software and communications in the AI leg. So I think this name is going to hang around 246. So as I said, small decline aspect, distribution phase to the market over the next week to week and a half. This is obviously mega beta here. So I think obviously this is going to prepare for a move. If you see this big channel here, or this big wedge rather, we're basing and basically range bound, between 200 and 260. I do think you'll eventually get the move. It's just going to take a little bit of time. And if things get ugly for this group, I think they sell off to, I don't think you get another opportunity to the 200-day moving average on this group. I think the 200-day of 240, I think holds. So could be wrong, but I think that's what to look forward to. A little oscillation around 246 over the next week or so. And then the ultimate low coming right around 240. All right. So that's what I think on there. So, pretty tight. That sounds very realistic, very like range bound for a little bit longer, and enjoy that rally that you had from that low on the 10th from 240 to 249. That was, the big move, and you had a lot of big catalysts today. All right. Mexico, a big move today, up 1.9%. So let's see what we were talking about here. If you're looking for short, something to get you through next week if the market does go sideways to down. So this is what I was talking about. I was actually looking for on the 27th, the beginning of, right. So this ascension starting right here at 49. And I had called for a move to about 54 is what I thought it was going to get to. If it had absolute, animal spirits take over, essentially I thought it was going to get to 52. This actually ended up getting to 53. So split the difference, got right in the middle. I think this is starting to roll over. Today was a big day, so this isn't the day to enter, the short position per se. But I do think this heads towards 51.30 over the next 2 weeks or so. So that's $1.10 or so. You got like 2.5% or so, 2.25% going the other way. If you're desperate for a short idea, I'm really not. But this looks to be a decent one if you are. All right, so that was the biggest multiple sigma moves today. Very tight list. Well, all they bought today was semis, superstar, or overall in the past year, and then Mexico, not a superstar. So you get one of each. And then to the downside, it was also only one area that got really hammered in a multiple sigma fashion, and it was the XME or metals and mining down 2.4%. So immediately, if you've been watching the show long enough, look at these fast moves. 52-week high here on November 7th, and now we come all the way to the 200-day moving average. And most of these, it's only had 2 green days since December 4th. So this has had a hard time. It's having a momentum breakdown. I thought this would hold right around 63.5, to be very frank with you. I'm surprised. You got this vol expansion here. These candles are still quite big, so people want to exit this for whatever reason. The 200-day moving average, though, is holding at 61.65. It did not, pierce through it today. Last time it did was mid-September when it was really having a hard time. It's almost approaching oversold. I'm long the GDX, or actually I'm not because I exited today. Gold's up massive this year, up 40%. This is, obviously playing through the equities plays, through the firms, the miners. I don't love the price action. This is really quite a fall. I do think it holds. So the $62, I think it holds. And then you can have a very quick, we know what we said about this group moves when it moves. So I think still something tells me this is going to bounce to 66 in the next 2 weeks or so. I think it might test your patience, but I do see how this trades on Monday. And I do think you're at 66 in about 2 to 3 weeks on this group. All right. Let's keep going. There's a lot today. All right. Top 3 gainers the past 5 days. Wow. The piece of trash, nat gas. Number 1 up 6%. So let's take a look if there's anything to do here. I think, again, so the 21-day moving average, exponential moving average is 1397. Today was down 5%. So even with all that, it is still up 6%. So quick, and look at this again. It did it on December 12th yesterday. The 200-day moving average is 1534. Yesterday got to 1542. Did it get to Chembade? Absolutely. And today we're down 5%. So we'll see what happens. I still, even for a piece of trash like this, broken clock is right twice a day. I still see us for something like this still being in accumulation mode. I think it wants to make another run and even fool some people and get above this 200-day moving average. I think I actually see it potentially going to about 1570 in the next 2 weeks. A surprising move today. I do think, though, it still goes higher in about 2 weeks. So I think my position, suffers in that regard. But we'll see. I think this is like not as terrible price action, believe it or not. And it was the best gainer this week. So it's been doing some work. The second, so that was up 6% this week. Right behind it, also up 6%, USO. So they've been commodities driven this week. Oil, okay. We were talking about this before. We talked about what it's going to do, the 200-day moving average. We said it's going to, frustrate investors. I think that's no different. So today was up 1 1/3%. You see the 200-day moving average basically, pretty much stuck there at 75.40. I think this is also similar to nat gas in accumulation mode for about another week to 2 weeks. I think this tries to make a move kind of similar to what I said in thesis about nat gas go above its 200 moving average. I see this kind of doing the same thing. I see this getting to about 76. Still no 3-month new highs or any kind of soaring momentum like that. Still looks overall heavy, but I do think it pierces its head and it gets to about 76, and then it starts to go wayward towards 72 again. So nothing more but frustration, in my opinion, in the oil space. And then the third best group, but way back, so it was nat gas up 6.5%, 6.3 in the past 5 days, for this whole week session. And then oil right behind, up 5.8, we'll call it 6%. And then way back there in the ETF space, so it's the Mag 7 was up 2.5%. So that, for the long side, were the areas to be in this week. So I'm short nat gas, so I got duped on that. Oil, no real position. And then Mag 7, obviously, long a bunch of that stuff. This group hit all-time highs yesterday. Let's take a look. If I'm calling, for a pullback in the markets, I think I know what I'm going to say on this without looking at it. So my full target for this was around 55. So this, soared through that with a ridiculous candle 2 days ago on the 11th. And then we actually got all the way to 57.25. I see a pullback for this over the next 2 weeks or so to about 53, and they're going to buy that dip, in my opinion. But absolutely amazing chart. You can't argue that it's, not concentrated considering it's 7 stocks. But, I mean, look at this chart from everything that we've seen. Here's the Armageddon. Still didn't get to the 200-day. Still with a massive slope up. Always oversold here for weeks on end. Never oversold. I meant overbought, rather. Sorry. And volume's really been climbing in this. I think with the surge in Tesla, folks like the way to play the Mag 7. Now you have a lot of news as well from these firms. So this has had like a volume breakout. We'll see if it lasts. There's not, SPY's not recording massive volume. So strong volume in the past 3 days on this group. So overall, congrats if you're in it. I'm pretty sure all of us are in some way. And I do see this pulling back to about 53 in the next 2 weeks or so. And then you're going to want to be long it. Okay, top 3 losers of the past 5 days. This one has hurt me as well. Uranium down 7%. Okay, so down 2.3 today, an ugly chart. You can see it also. A lot of things happening, a lot of different spheres. This is coming down to its 200-day moving average. So similarly, I thought this was going to be in distribution phase from about a week to 2 weeks ago. I thought this was going to base right around 29. The 200-day moving average is 29.25. That's pretty much, I think it's going to find its level here. It's held this level in absolute terms. I'm talking about 29 even since we'll call it, end of September. And that is also equal to the 200-day moving average with its 52-week high coming, the week before Halloween, October 21st. So give this a little bit of time. It was down again today, down 2%. I think this 29 will hold. I think it's a good, personally, I don't think I'm going to double down on my call spread, but if you don't have a position and you're looking for something a little bit uncorrelated to just straight beta during the Santa Claus rally, potentially this is a fit, but I think this is a fine chart. I think it bases, like I said, around 29, and then you do get a mean reversion pop to 31, and then longer term, the goal is 34 new 52-week highs on this baby. All right. Next, so XBI, so uranium got hammered this week, down 7%. Next group was XBI, down 6%. So I remember this group when it was especially weak when the whole, Kennedy announcement was getting, right here, when we finally capitulated on the 19th and things got so ugly. Well, we're almost right back to those levels again. There was stuff this morning like Lilly. Healthcare has been an absolute dog for lots of reasons, but like I think Lilly was releasing Ozempic results. It has like vision loss for those that use it, so you can look great, but you might not be able to see yourself. I don't know. All right, so this one looks to be in distribution mode. I think this is headed towards around 91. I think it wants to get as ugly as as where we were. It's crazy too because the 52-week high for this came just literally 4 weeks ago at 105, and now it's having some more tested times here under 95, which is its 200-day moving average. So don't like this group for the next 2 weeks. I think it's got negative momentum. I think it has to work this off. This nice gain that it had, that nice rally, it's going to have to work it off, and we're going to get right back to where we were. So I'm going to avoid this group for the next 2 weeks or so. I'm long a biotech company, unfortunately, so I'm just usually they kind of sell questions. They sell it, and then they ask questions later. So, yeah, I don't like this space, and the 200-day moving average looks to be a little bit heavy for this group. A near recent superstar, for the most part, and now, changes colors fast. Kind of a hero to zero look quickly. All right, and then the next one, talk about hero to zero. Oh my goodness, home construction, an absolutely horrendous trade as of late. If you're in anything real estate, IYR, VNQ, it's just been trash. Here's the good news. So this hasn't held. It's funny. So the 52-week low was the last time this breached the 200-day moving average. Okay, and it was still rising, and that was back right around July 5th. Also never oversold all year. Pretty much, superstar performer. You'd think you'd want to be in it. The problem is the good times for this, the highs was last, in October, and then you haven't had any momentum since. What I see here is this is going to base around 114. I'm surprised it actually, sold off 1.5%. But rates have been, going off. We do get a Fed cut expected next week to another 25 basis points, unless they disappoint, but I don't think so. And the 200-day moving average for this is 113.5. I thought this was going to base right around there. I think this is a bit of an oopsie. I think this comes back. I think this is a good opportunity if you want to get into this. You will be tested, though. This has not been, very rewarding. As you can see here, from December 2nd, the past 11 days, and we're all-time highs in the Qs. Obviously not super correlated, but this has had 2 winning days. So this has been a painful trade. And I think on some momentum, this gets back to about 119. So you could have a nice, $6 move over the next couple of weeks. Wait for a little bit of strength because these bars are still big and it's still ugly, and a lot of people want to flock into it. But if you do get into this name around 114, I think you're getting, a discount if you're patient. All right. Top 3 trades of the past 5 days. If you were short uranium, I'm not, literally the opposite. Long nat gas, literally the opposite. And short biotech, literally the opposite. You had the best 3 days, best 3 trades of the past 5 days. I have not. Thankfully, I'm long other stuff that helped buoy the portfolio, but it was not a sensational week. Now the all important drum roll. Top 3 trades of the past 52 weeks. Here we go. See what the change is and spaces, in my opinion, that you have to be in. GBTC, your number one killer here, up 127% from last year. Okay. Nothing wrong with this. The high came, 9 days ago in GBTC, or 8 days ago, rather, $82. Right here, we're trading at about $80. Only time oversold was during that Yen Mageddon, as we said. Pretty astounding. I mean, that was really when you had opportunity to buy Bitcoin on sale. Again, we're doing it through ETF. So some might ask, why are we not looking at BTC USD? I'm giving you the top 3, standardized ETF returns in all the land from last December 13th through today. And this is your absolute winner. Again, just so you know, last year at this time, it was trading, what do I have here? $36. So we're up to 80, and that's how you get 127%. So absolutely astounding, and you have to stay long. The train has left the station. Absolutely. All right, next, we have to look at the chart, so I'm not going to get into it, but the second biggest trade of the year, and it's good to see after a nice week that they had, is semiconductors, up 47%. So you got to be long Bitcoin. That's where a lot of performers are getting their alpha from. You just have to be up 127% year over year. Do you want to be right, or do you want to make money? Just give in and buy some. BlackRock said, allocate, I think 1.5%. Allocate something. You don't need a lot because due to the volatility nature of it, right? So, but you should own some. Don't be what is it? If they're maxis, don't be a mini and don't own any. It's silly. especially when look at the return that it has year after year after year after year after year. Okay, so like I said, next is the semiconductors, up 47% is your second leader. You got to be in this group. Obviously, it's led by NVIDIA. Now you're seeing a rotation kind of within. You're seeing Broadcom, Marvell, Credo. So there's other. That's what you want to see. Rotation within a superstar subsector like semi. So I like that. That's bullish developments this week. And then the third best trade. It's interesting. XLC 43%. So of course this is the Meta Google fund. I think folks are starting to catch up on how those guys are starting to capitalize on AI through whether it be quantum computing and Willow for Google or everything that Meta is doing. And I think they had an announcement yesterday they're doing something with Samsung for VR or something. Maybe I'm getting my names confused, but a great group here. XLC, the third best group. So again, it's Bitcoin up 127 from last year. Semis up 47, and right on its tails XLC, and this one has the momentum as of now. So Bitcoin obviously momentum as of this week with those new highs. SMH, their highs were back in July, so that's a bit of a lagger. We're waiting for that to step up and hit a big ball at the plate. And then XLC has mad momentum literally as we speak. Yesterday with new all-time highs. Now that Google is we were literally making fun of it almost a week ago, saying it's been all Meta doing the heavy lifting, and now Google's just Meta's doing its thing, doing super well, and then Google's really been a lift, and it's raised this group. You really want to own XLC. So it's mega cap tech through different ways: semis, NVIDIA, Broadcom, all that, and then you got to kind of own Meta, Google, and XLC. The other thing, just notable, because I wanted to see. Oh yeah, and I'll sign off after this. If I kept on going after SMH, after XLC, the next others were literally capital growth funds. So it was, IW, it was like SPY 500 growth, Russell growth. It was basically the same idea, same principle. So you have to be long these mega cap tech names, especially the ones that include semis, Meta, and Google. Don't be silly. And Tesla, now that it has all-time high and it has the automation legs, it touches Bitcoin, everything else. So pay attention to the thematics and the factors, and especially things that overlap. So XLC, yeah, we already talked about this, but see if you can get an entry around 99, a $2 discount, and then get in that puppy. Start buying that. That's my near term on that. I think this group does come off a little bit over the next 2 weeks, not a ton, but maybe to 99 even, and then you buy it, and then it's headed to 101, 102, and so on and so forth. Okay, that was a lot. Thanks for everything. We will, like I said, out next week. I will be back Monday the 23rd. Have fun trading, y'all, and peace.